Thank you so much for making time to choose the national broadcaster this 20th day of August 2022. We are live from Nile Avenue right here in Kampala. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Now, starting us off, we're looking at the activities regarding the head of state. The chairperson, NRM, also President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has welcomed the move to rationalize government agencies. President Museveni, while addressing NRM caucus at Kololo Independence Grounds, said agencies likely to be affected are those which do not fetch profits. In an interview with members of parliament who attended the caucus, Government Chief Whip Hamson Oboa explained the process will be done in phases. Oboa adds that they did not discuss the issue of many Ugandans who will be rendered jobless. According to the government chief whip, the caucus will convene again within 2 weeks for a debate.
The National Resistance Movement Parliamentary Caucus sat today at Kololo Independence Ground. The meeting was convened on the request of the National Chairperson of the National Resistance Movement, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who briefed caucus about the plan for rationalization of government agencies. In his brief, he stated that in the recent past, a study was done by government of Uganda, spearheaded by the Ministry of Public Service, to cut costs, looking at ministries, departments, and agencies of government. The rationale or the justification of this study was to reduce on public expenditure, to minimize cost, to eliminate functional duplication, especially in ministries, departments, and agencies of government, including parastatals, and also to take services nearer to the people. He further informed Parliament, the Parliamentary Caucus rather, that there is need for government to retain research institutions, ministries and departments and agencies of government, including parastatals, that are making money. This paper was presented later on by the Ministry of Public Service. Members received it, and we have deferred debate for a period of 2 weeks when another caucus will be convened in order for us to have a full blast debate where NRM Parliamentary Caucus will take a decision based on consensus on this particular subject matter of rationalization of government agencies.
So we find that after having got his communication, we have been given enough time to study the document, and where we can guide, we guide, then we shall go back and come up with solutions. But the issue of rationalization, as members of the caucus, we are ready to support it because there are ministries and agencies which are doing nothing. You find they became money-making agencies. So we feel when they go back to their mother ministries, they will perform better. You find a ministry has a director, has a commissioner, and when you see a commissioner, again the director is above the commissioner.
We shall keep you posted on regarding the issue of rationalization of government agencies. Now, in other news for the day, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who's also the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, made several changes in the leadership of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF. Our defense spokesperson, Brigadier Felix Kulaije, confirmed the changes and appointments aimed at enriching the management of departments within the structures of UPDF.
General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, made 35 appointments, including 3 Major Generals, 12 Brigadier Generals, 14 Colonels, and 6 Lieutenant Colonels.
If you notice, we have over 30 generals that are retiring at the end of this month. So the appointments are intended to fill the gaps the retiring officers have left. Take for example Lieutenant General Guti, the former commandant of the Senior Commander Staff College. He's retired. We must cover his position. Hence the appointment of General George Igumba as the commandant.
Major General Hudson Mukasa was appointed Deputy General Officer commanding Reserve Forces. Major General George Igumba was appointed Commandant of the Senior Command and Staff College, Chimaka, to be deputized by Colonel Silver Changa Muhwezi, while Major General Lucy Chidega takes over as Camp Commandant.
His Excellency the President saw it fit to fill the gaps of those who are retiring, because they have already been cleared to retire, but the institution must continue. And that's how institutions grow. Those of us who have reached retirement age will leave, the younger ones take position.
Defense spokesperson Brigadier General Felix Kolaije said the appointments are aimed at filling the gaps of retiring officers.
Indeed, you have seen many, because many who have been in those positions are retiring. For instance, General Katirima is retiring. He has been in Addis Ababa. General Ndoga was in Saudi Arabia. He's retiring. General Grace Agaba was in Burundi. He's retiring. General Kashaka was in Tanzania. He's retiring. So General Kidega had to come and replace General Kakari at Camp Commandant, because Camp Commandant has retired. You realize that we are filling positions as people retiring. So the defense advisors play a role of advising our high commissioners and ambassadors on matters of defense cooperation between us and the countries where they represent us.
Kolaije reiterated that the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces also considered the competency of officer on duty.
Defense areas, in the end, contribute to the defense capacity of the country.
As an institution grows, the new team may come with a new style.
Colonel Deo Akiki has been reappointed as the deputy spokesperson, replacing Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Kakurungu, who has been appointed to deputize Colonel Pade Ankunda at the Directorate of Strategic Communications. Brian Tumwinebia Ruhanga, Haruna Mutesa Asira, UBC News.
The Office of the Prime Minister has received an assortment of food and other relief items from China Communications Construction Company and China Food King. The items destined for Karamoja will officially be received by the Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, who promised to have them reach the intended beneficiaries. The items in the hundreds of tons included a maize flour, salt, laundry soap, meant for elderly people of Karamoja sub-region.
We have so far delivered some food supplies to Karamoja. I'll be going there next week. Please accompany me so that we go and see for ourselves what is happening there. But the situation is normalizing because we have got, the Prime Minister's office has bought some food. I cannot say it's enough, but you saw me yesterday on the floor of Parliament giving you the update of how much food we have so far given those people. It is in millions of kilograms. We have so far received 20 billion, and I think the procurement process has been concluded. The technical people are here. They can give you the update. But so far what I know, Ministry of Finance has so far given us 20 billion. And this money is being used to buy food.
Maybe our help is not so big, but we hope that it could help those people in Karamoja, especially those elderly and the young children there. It is human nature that to help the weak. So we also hope that in future, the people there will have a better situation.
And for accepting to be part of us as Ugandans, for being part of us when we have issues, for being there for the people of Karamoja. You had said that this food should go to the elderly. we shall make sure that the food goes to the intended beneficiaries. And I request that my ministry or OPM takes cognizance of this fact. These people want this food to go to the needy, especially the elderly. And therefore, on behalf of government, I want to thank you and to inform you that this food will reach those people you intend to give it to.
That is so much good news for the people in Karamoja. Now, in other details, I was seeing the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, has tipped the business sector in Jinja sub-region to revamp businesses that were hit by COVID-19 pandemic. She was highlighting on the Jinja Business and Investment Summit, an investment opportunity that will diversify investment in the development of Jinja City.
Jinja is an industrial district with a number of factories and tourism centers. In 2020, Jinja municipality was elevated to city status. However, the city faces poor service delivery, unemployment and street congestion, which are associated with a growing population.
The economy in Jinja is staggering, seriously. Because given people, we are crying of the fuel prices, we are crying of the commodity prices.
The authorities and other stakeholders are worried and call for action from relevant authorities.
The industries have gone down. And now industrialization, producing products, manufactured products, is no longer the story here in Jinja.
It's come a long way from 1906, when it was just a fishing village. And Jinja was strategic because it was on the trade route from the coast to the hinterland.
The Minister for East African Community Affairs, also First Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, has called upon the business sector to take advantage of the revamping business opportunities yet to be provided.
The area suffered during after the departure of the Asians in the 70s, and later on a number of factories and industries located from Jinja moved to other parts of the country, especially to Kampala and Mukono. But it's our hope that this can be revived, and we're inviting you to come and invest. There are many opportunities. There are opportunities in tourism. Tourism is a growing area in Jinja. There are many opportunities in education, many opportunities in health, and additional industries themselves.
The Director, African Center for Economic Dialogue, Julius Nsubuga, says a multi-stakeholder engagement platform that seeks to ensure a clear path is built for sustainable, inclusive and resilient.
You want to, if probably we can't leave out marginalized groups, so offices of inclusion are quite key, including affordable housing for all and gender equality, financial inclusion, which is a very important facet of development within any city and in particular Jinja City.
Kwe kulaba nga tusobola okutumbula naye ate n'okuddamu okuwa amaanyi ebyobusuubuzi mu kibuga ky'e Jinja nga tugabana amagezi ag'enjawulo agayinza okutusobozesa okuleeta enkulaakulana bwepo buli muntu yenna gy'ayayanira okulaba.
The summit will guide and shape growth and development of Jinja City. The general public can use this opportunity to showcase and exchange ideas to revamp and sustain business. The 11th November Jinja Business and Investment Summit at Civil Service College Jinja is organized by Jinja City authorities and the African Center for Economic Dialogue. I'm Nafka Farida and Sulaka Gugube.
Moving on, experts in law, history and theology have said until the issues of decolonization are handled, the Asian question will remain in Africa. Now, during a public lecture on the 50 years after Asians' expulsion from Uganda, the former executive director of Makerere Institute of Social Research, Professor Mahmoud Mamdani, said, to date, the Asians will still not have the obligation to community and Uganda as a country because they are considered investors. The public lecture was held at Makerere University, from where our reporter Farida Nafka now reports. Former President of Uganda Idi Amin Dada in 1972 expelled
all Asians from Uganda. Accordingly, 12,000 Ugandan Asians did not have the right to work in Uganda because of the laws that restricted citizenship and disenfranchised Asians.
So for upwards of 12,000 people, the expulsion liberated them from an impossible situation. Eventually no homes. At first they lived in places of worship, temples, mosques. 12,000 celebrated the expulsion. For them, Amin had opened the gates of Britain. Finally, they could look forward to another life.
Although President Museveni returned the Asians, they are allegedly considered investors and do not have any obligation to the community and country.
But it is no longer the original Asian question. The new Asian question emerged. It has two features. One, the new Asians are not considered Ugandans, even if some of them may hold Uganda passports. They are investors, not citizens. As investors, they are bearers of property, not of rights.
During a public lecture and discussion at Makerere University on the 50 years after the Asian expulsion and lessons learned over half a century, experts attributed the expulsion to economic exploitation, inequalities and social exclusion rather than intermarriages.
Indians were taking out money from Uganda. They avoided taxes, took money out of Uganda, and by the time they were expelled, they had around 342 million pounds in British banks. You follow what they have, it is stunning, but they made it on the backs of the poor peasantry in this country.
Indigenous population was completely detached from this new group of people. And that gap was not good. Because the integration process that should have actually begun a long time ago with the newcomers never took place properly.
Professor Sylvia Tamale from the Faculty of Law, Makerere University, says African countries continue to be haunted by colonialism, and until they handle the issue of decolonization and racial differences, the Asian question will remain. Sylvia says culture and tradition have failed integration between Asians and Africans.
50 years after the expulsion, it is the bodies of women which are being foregrounded in a discussion about the benefits of integration. With such chauvinist, misogynist, and patriarchal views, of course, relations between the two races will continue to be fraught with tension. As African men want to lay claim to the bodies of Asian women, the Asian men fight back by invoking culture and tradition.
However, going forward, these recommend the state to forge an inclusive multiracial policy to create a state that accommodates all diversity. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Makerere.
We're returning shortly with business updates. Keep it right here as we bring you more news in our lunchtime bulletin for this hour.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Getting a birth certificate is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Get a birth notification record stamped by a medical officer from a medical facility where the baby was born, or from a sub-county chief if the birth occurred in the community. 2. Go to the nearer offices in your area and present the notification record, a copy of the parents or guardian's national ID, and a bank payment slip of 5,000 shillings for citizens and $40 for non-citizens. 3. Apply by filing NERA Form 3 from NERA offices or download it from the NERA website www.nera.go.ug. A birth certificate will then be issued to you. Birth certificates to refugees born in Uganda are free of charge. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabane. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Hey guys, please let's have a brief meeting. See that? Calls, data, SMS, shareable among 5 people. What? And it includes free Airtel TV. Do you guys know what that means?
Means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans. Shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay at the end of the month.
They've also added Showmax. Oh.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thanks for staying. We are live from Nile Avenue right here in Kampala, and this is a newscast for this lunchtime news. Now moving on into our business updates for the day. The insurance industry in Uganda remains resilient despite the economic shocks. This is according to half-year performance highlights released by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. Now, according to the regulator, the economy continues to harden amid its challenging macroeconomic fundamentals with heightened cost of living and rising inflation.
Uganda's economy has been contracting since the beginning of the year, a situation exacerbated by reduced spending capacity by majority of the populace. This trend is indirectly affecting the insurance industry, whose stability banks on economic growth and spending. In the first half of this year, the industry recorded a revenue improvement of 18.6% from 600 billion shillings to 712 billion shillings compared to the same period last year.
For the last 6 months, that is January to June 2022, we recorded premiums of 600.105 billions, and this was the performance for 2021. Now for 2022 we have registered 711.63 billion. You can call it 712 billions were underwritten as gross premium.
Non-life businesses generated 406 billion, equivalent to 57% of the aggregated industry written premiums, whereas life businesses generated 34% of the aggregated industry written premiums.
We have observed that the gross claims paid out have increased, and this to us is a good sign. From the underwritten premiums I told you about, the 712 billion, 243 billion was paid out in claims, and this is compared to the 193 billions which had been paid in the Q2 of 2021.
The rest of the classes combined accounted to 9% of the aggregated industry written premiums. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Well, now from the international scene, a sad one though, as we see security officials, they say 10 people have been killed after Al-Shabaab militants stormed a hotel in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Police said attackers detonated 2 explosives outside the hotel before entering the building and opening fire. They were reported to be hauled up on the top floor of the Hotel Hyatt hours after the attack began. A special police unit is said to have rescued dozens of guests and staff from the hotel. Earlier, a website affiliated to Al-Shabaab said a group of militants had forcibly entered the hotel and were carrying out a random shooting. The Hyatt is described as a popular location for employees of the federal government to meet. 9 people were injured and carried away from the hotel. The head of Mogadishu's Al-Min Ambulance Services, Abdikadir Abdiharman, told Reuters news agency earlier on. Now, unverified images circulating on social media appeared to show smoke billowing from the hotel while shouting and loud bangs can be heard. That's all we had time for this particular newscast. Thank you so much for making time. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you as you enjoy this weekend and your Saturday afternoon, the 20th of August 2022. My name is Sandra Kahunde, and from the entire team, have yourself a lovely day and keep it UBC. Better programming coming your way as you enjoy your day.